Welcome to the fourth lesson of the Business English module called Travel. It is advisable to do the lessons from this module on computers. If you do them on smartphones or other small portable devices, you can just zoom in so as to see all text and exercises properly. In this lesson, we will focus on the key vocabulary regarding travel. You will read an email prepared by Professor Ted Rogers to send to Anna, and you will learn how and when to use the future tenses, will and going to. In the end, you will be provided with the opportunity to write a dialogue on buying a plane ticket, and you will receive some helpful tips on air travel. We hope all these will support your entrepreneurial ideas. Now, let's start with the email that Professor Ted Rogers prepares to send to Anna, her student from the university. If you remember, in the third lesson, Anna wrote a formal letter to him and she asked him to help them to clarify the entrepreneurship idea and from where to start. Now, Professor Ted Rogers prepares his email to her. Read the text of the email. If necessary, pause the video. Be careful when reading the text. Try to remember how Professor Ted Rogers expresses his future plans and predictions in his email. You will need this information for the exercises later on. Now, let's see some basic vocabulary about travel. To travel means to make a journey, usually over a long distance. To book a room is to arrange to have a room at a particular time in the future. While the compound word a guest house refers to a small, cheap hotel in British English, it refers to a small house near a larger one, where guests who are invited to the larger house can stay in American English. Accommodation is a place to live, work, stay in. We renew a passport when we want to increase the life of a passport or replace a passport that's old. To get a visa means to get an official mark, usually made in a passport, that allows someone to enter or leave a particular country. A travel agent is a person or company that arranges tickets, hotel rooms, etc. for people going on holiday or making a journey. A plane ticket is a small piece of paper or card given to someone, usually to show that they have paid for a journey. Now, it's time to exercise. Read carefully the statements on the slide. For each statement, decide if it is true or false. If necessary, pause the video. You can check the correct answers back on slide number 3. So, when do we use be going to and will/want? We use be going to when we talk about future plans and intentions. For example, we say, Professor Ted Rogers is going to travel to Chicago next week. We also use be going to make a prediction when we know or can see that something is going to happen, as seen in the example. Professor Ted Rogers is sure that at the conference Anna is going to meet many young entrepreneurs and innovative IT business leaders. We use will/want for future predictions. We often use I think, I don't think, plus will. For example, we say I think you will also attend this international conference. We also use will/want for making instant decisions, as seen in the example. I'll phone you later on. For offering, as seen in the example, please be sure that I'll help you with the registration. And for promising, as seen in the example, I'll tell you the details about the conference tomorrow. If you want to learn more, consult with the grammar books. Now, let's move to the next part, listening. Listen to the dialogue between Professor Ted Rogers and his travel agent. Note how Professor Rogers buys a plane ticket from London to Chicago.
British Airways, can I help you?
Yes, my name is Ted Rogers, and I will buy a plane ticket from London to Chicago.
When will you go to Chicago?
I will go to Chicago on the 15th next month. Do you have any seats?
Let me see. Yes, I have one on the 9:30 flight.
How much is it?
It's €8. Will you buy that?
No, I won't. When will the next flight leave?
It will leave at 12:30 on the same day.
Will the 12:30 flight be a direct flight?
Yes, it will.
Fine, I'll buy that.
Okay. How will you pay the ticket fee?
I will pay it by my credit card.
Okay. I'll connect you to the interactive system and you will pay the ticket fee by your credit card. Thank you very much, Mr. Rogers, for your choosing us. Bye.
Thank you very much for your support. Bye.
So, listen again to the dialogue between Professor Ted Rogers and the travel agent. Then, complete the following sentences by choosing only one phrase from the following. If necessary, pause the video. You can see the text on the next slide and check your answers.
British Airways. Can I help you?
Yes, my name is Ted Rogers, and I will buy a plane ticket from London to Chicago.
When will you go to Chicago?
I will go to Chicago on the 15th next month. Do you have any seats?
Let me see. Yes, I have one on the 9:30 flight.
How much is it?
It's €8. Will you buy that?
No, I won't. When will the next flight leave?
It will leave at 12:30 on the same day.
Will the 12:30 flight be a direct flight?
Yes, it will.
Fine, I'll buy that.
Okay. How will you pay the ticket fee?
I will pay it by my credit card.
Okay. I'll connect you to the interactive system and you will pay the ticket fee by your credit card. Thank you very much, Mr. Rogers, for your choosing us. Bye.
Thank you very much for your support. Bye.
So, here you can see dialogue between Professor Ted Rogers and his travel agent. And of course, check your answers from the exercise. Let's see what phrases Professor Ted Rogers uses in his dialogue with the travel agent. Try to memorize them because you will need these phrases for the writing part. When we ask for a seat, we use some useful phrases such as, "Do you have any seats? I prefer a window seat," or an aisle seat, or "I want a middle seat." When we ask for the next flight, we use some helpful phrases such as, "When's the next flight? When does the next flight leave?" or "When will the next flight leave?" When we ask for payment, we use phrases such as, "How do you want to pay?" or "Are you paying by check, credit, or debit card?" When we want to make a payment, we use phrases such as, "I want to pay in cash," or "I will pay by credit card." Now, we move to the writing part, where you will practice how to write a dialogue between the travel agent and you for buying a plane ticket from London to Chicago. In the reading part, you read Professor Ted Rogers' email to Anna Radina. In the listening part, you learned some useful vocabulary for asking for a seat, the next flight, and making the payment. Now it's your turn. The questions on the slide will guide you through the process. When you write your dialogue, be clear about what you want to do and what you ask for. This will help the other person understand what to offer to you. We wish you good luck. In the last part of the lesson, we like to share with you useful airport signs and their meanings. We recommend you to memorize all these airport signs and their meanings because they are very useful when you travel by plane. When your plane arrives at the airport, your family and friends meet you in the arrivals lounge. Baggage drop-off refers to the place where you drop off the bags that you take with you when you travel. When your plane arrives, your bags and suitcases come out on the moving conveyor belt. This is called baggage claim. Check-in is the place at an airport where you check your luggage and your ticket. Customs is the place at the airport where travelers' bags are looked at to find out if any goods are being carried illegally or have to be declared. In the departures lounge, there are many different gates that lead to different flights. Passport control is the place at the airport, port, or border of a country where a security officer checks your passport. Terminal means the area or building at a station, airport, or port that is used by passengers leaving or arriving by train, aircraft, or ship. Trolley is a small vehicle with 2 or 4 wheels that you push or pull to transport large or heavy objects on. When you are leaving to go on a trip, you go to the departures lounge where you wait to board your flight. In this part of the lesson, we like to share with you useful air travel vocabulary. We recommend you to memorize these words and phrases because they will be very helpful when you begin to travel by plane within or beyond your country's borders. If you are not sure about the exact meaning of some of the expressions, check in the dictionary. So, we came to the end of this lesson. Now, you know the key vocabulary on the topic travel, and you can write a dialogue to buy a plane ticket. You also know how to use the future tenses, be going to, and will or won't. You have practiced writing a dialogue between the travel agent and the customer for asking for a seat, the next flight, and making a payment. You have also developed your entrepreneurship skills related to useful vocabulary and phrases on air travel. We wish you good luck and are looking forward to seeing you at the next lesson.